Most women believe getting pregnant is simple. You decide you're ready, you track ovulation, and eventually it happens. But what many women don't realize is that the body may have been sending fertility signals for years before they even tried to conceive. Signals we were never taught to recognize. So grab a notebook, if you can, because this is the kind of conversation I wish someone had with me years earlier. Do you long to get pregnant and trust your body again? Do you feel exhausted by the month after month cycle of hope and disappointment? Do you carry that creeping sense of failure? The fear that your body just isn't working the way that it should? If so, I'm so glad that you're here, my friend. Hi, I'm Mariana, a wife, mom, and a fertility care practitioner. After years of confusion and heartache, I learned how to understand my cycle with clarity and move towards pregnancy naturally by following a real system instead of guessing. This is Fertile Window Lab. If you're ready for real clarity about your cycle, a simple method that works, and less pressure from predictions, alarms, and fertility gymnastics, sit down the sticks, pop in your earbuds, and let's make sense of your fertility together. Hi, TTC Warrior. Do you want to hang out with other women who are serious about understanding their ovulation and getting real cycle clarity? Inside my free Facebook group, Trying to Conceive, Ovulation, and Cycle Clarity for Women, you'll learn how to better understand your fertile window, how to read your cycle with confidence, what might be disrupting your fertility, and what to actually do next. If you're done guessing and ready for clarity, come join us. And if you want deeper guidance, become an insider, get weekly emails from me, advanced fertility education, mindset coaching, and practical next steps you can apply immediately. You'll find the link for both in the show notes. I'll see you inside. I actually learned about fertility care because of a need I had in my own life. After having 2 uncomplicated pregnancies and births, my fertility suddenly changed. Things that once seemed simple were no longer simple. And I remember feeling confused because there were so many unanswered questions. When I saw medical help, the only explanation I was giving was something like, one of your hormones is off. And I remember leaving that appointment thinking, that can't be the whole story. There was no real conversation about why, no real investigation into the root cause. And that moment stayed with me because when something changes in our bodies, we naturally want answers. We want to understand why is it happening. Now, years later, I work with women who share similar stories. But what is interesting is that their stories often look a little different from mine. Unlike my situation, where something changed after pregnancy, many of the women I work with have never been pregnant before, yet there is still the natural assumption most of us grow up with, that getting pregnant and staying pregnant is simply a switch we turn on and off. And when that assumption doesn't hold truth, it can feel like we're hit without a warning. The reality is that not all women fit the same mold. Infertility is not identical for everybody. And right now, we're seeing an increasing infertility rates across the nation among both men and women. Looking back at my own story, I can clearly see the signs that something was off long before my fertility struggles ever surfaced. At that time, though those signs felt random and disconnected, I experienced severe PMS, random bleeding, breast tenderness, brown and even black bleeding at times, a heavy leg feeling around my period, migraines, mood swings, unpredictable cycles, and bloating. Now, not all those symptoms show up every month. Some will appear, disappear, and come back later. So I learned to live with them. I normalized them. And like many women, medicated them when needed. Hello, Middle Stash. My husband even learned to recognize my irritable face and jokingly warned the kids to behave around the time of the month. And at that time, this all felt normal. Looking back, that was my first mistake. I waited until I was trying to conceive to really start learning about my fertility. Many women I work with come to me asking the same questions. Did I ovulate? Did I miss my fertile window? Is this normal? And the truth is, there is so much information available to us through our menstrual cycle. If we're taught how to understand them. As a mother of 4 girls, this is something we talk about openly in our home. Our conversations about cycles and care because cycle understanding allows women to understand themselves better. It allows us to recognize the natural energy fluctuations in the cycle, helps us plan our lifestyles more intentionally, and it gives us real insight into our hormonal health. For me, charting my cycle became a vital tool. If I'm under acute stress, my ovulation gets delayed and my chart shows it. Now, as a woman in my 40s, early ovulation happens more often, but it doesn't take me by surprise anymore because I can see these patterns. My chart is a reflection of my hormonal health and my lifestyle. And in daily life, it also helps me to quickly detect unusual patterns that might require medical evaluation. That awareness is powerful, and most women never receive that education. Now, looking back, there are 4 things I truly wish somebody had explained to me earlier. There are mistakes many women make before trying to get pregnant. And once you understand them, you start approaching your fertility differently. The first mistake is waiting until you're trying to conceive to start learning about your fertility. Many women only learn about their fertility when they're already worried that something is wrong. But fertility awareness is not only useful for getting pregnant, it benefits women in every season of life. Before pregnancy, it helps you understand your body. Postpartum, it can help with pregnancy spacing in your late 30s and 40s. It helps you recognize the hormonal shifts or premenopause. And later, it helps women navigate menopause with greater understanding of what their bodies are doing. Your cycle is not just about reproduction. It's a powerful biomarker of your overall health. We need to do a much better job as a culture teaching women hormonal health before problems arise, not after. So how you get started? Start with learning about your cycle. Learn what the phases of your cycle are. Understand what ovulation looks like in your body. And most importantly, start observing your patterns. That awareness alone can change how you relate to your health. Mistake number 2. Period tracking is not the same as cycle tracking. Many women think they're tracking their cycle because they the start date of their period in an app. But that is period tracking, not a true cycle tracking. Most of the women I work with have spent months researching ovulation, LH tests, apps, fertile windows, and timing everything perfectly. But one of the biggest shifts happens when they realize fertility isn't just about finding ovulation. It's about understanding the health of the entire cycle. True fertility care looks at the biological signs your body produces through the cycle. Ovulation can still be defective even when cycles appear regular. For example, if the egg takes too long to release, if the follicle size is suboptimal, or if egg quality is poor. A healthy luteal phase usually lasts about 2 weeks after ovulation. When it's too short, it can make it harder to sustain a pregnancy. Shorter luteal phases may increase the risk of miscarriage, and luteal phases longer than 17 days after ovulation may indicate anovulatory cycles, meaning ovulation didn't happen at all. Many women also normalize symptoms that they're actually warning signs. 1 or 2 days of mild discomfort before your period can be normal. But the women I work with often endure a full week of moderate to severe symptoms that disrupt their daily lives. That is not something women should have to simply tolerate. Learn a true system of fertility care. I teach the Cradle Model System. It's backed by scientific research and is designed to work hand in hand with the medical evaluation. There are a few methods that combine multiple biological markers, but for women trying to conceive, Creighton is one of the most structured and medical useful system available. And thanks to technology today, women can access this education from anywhere in the world. My services are fully online, which means couples can receive instruction and support regardless of where they live. When this charting system is combined with NAPRO technology, success rates for restoring fertility can reach around 80% in many cases. Compare that to many artificial reproductive technologies. Average success rates 36% per cycle. This is why understanding your cycle is so powerful. If you're listening right now, you might already recognize some of these patterns in your own cycle. Another mistake is assuming fertility only matters when you're trying to get pregnant. I hear this often when I'm in gatherings and somebody asks what I do. If they're not trying to conceive, they assume fertility is irrelevant to them. But fertility is part of a reproductive system, and the reproductive system is one of the 11 systems in the body. Just like the respiratory system, the digestive system, the nervous system, all of them work together, and they all benefit from good nutrition, stress regulation, healthy sleep patterns, and a balanced inflammatory response. High stress levels can disrupt ovulation. Poor sleep affects hormone production in both women and men, including sperm quality. Inflammation doesn't only affect joints. Inflammation can affect organs, including the reproductive organs, and interfere with cycle health. Once I began to see my menstrual cycle as a major biomarker of my overall health, everything changed. So you can start by focusing on one lifestyle factor you can realistically improve. For many women, sleep hygiene is the easiest place to start. Consistent sleep schedules, reducing late night screen exposure, creating an environment that supports deep rest. Quality sleep alone can have a powerful effect on hormonal balance. Then gradually address other factors like nutrition, stress management, and inflammation. Remember, fertility is not just about one organ malfunctioning, it's about the whole person's health. And this leads to the last mistake, which is waiting too long to seek answers. Couples stay in the let's just try a little longer phase. If you've been trying to conceive for 12 months without success, it is time to seek help. During that waiting period, the social media hacks. You might see a reel claiming that one supplement, cream, or medication was the missing piece. While sometimes those things can help, rarely they're the full solution for everyone. Another barrier I see is shame. Some couples feel like seeking help means admitting something is wrong with them, and fear begins to creep in. That fear sometimes pushes couples toward shortcuts that look promising but bypass understanding the real cause. This is often when artificial technologies are presented as the primary solution. But going into technologies like IVF without fully understanding the implications can lead to frustration, heartache, and high financial costs. Even when successful, couples who hope to grow their families may have to repeat the entire process again. Restorative reproductive medicine approaches fertility differently. Instead of bypassing the body, the goal is to restore health so the body can function as it was designed to. If you've been trying for a year without success, seek proper fertility evaluation and remember that fertility is a couple's journey. It is not fair to assume one person is broken, and it's also not accurate to assume your only options are artificial technologies. There is often so much more to uncover, and when couples approach fertility together with curiosity and even good medical guidance, the path forward becomes much clearer. Today, we talked about the 4 common mistakes many women make before trying to conceive. And just to recap, mistake 1, waiting too long to learn about their fertility. Mistake 2, confusing period tracking with true cycle tracking. Mistake number 3, only thinking about fertility when there is a problem. Mistake number 4, waiting too long to seek help. The more we understand our bodies, the more empowered we are to care for them well. Fertility is not just about getting pregnant. It's about understanding the language of your body. The good news is that our bodies often give us far more information than we realize once we learn how to listen. And next week, I'm actually bringing an opera physician onto the podcast so we can talk about what real restorative fertility care looks like and how couples can address the root causes instead of jumping straight to artificial solutions. You're not going to want to miss this conversation. If you know a woman who hopes to become a mother someday, send her this episode. See you next week.
I'm my mama's little fertility helper. If this episode has helped you or if you feel a little more hopeful, leave a review. She'll love it.
Hi, DTC Warrior. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. If so, please leave a 5-star written review on Apple Podcasts. It truly helps to get this show into ears of more women who need it. And be sure to sign up for my weekly encouragement. tips and insights straight to your inbox. I promise to keep it practical, hopeful, and faith-friendly. All right, I'm off to tacos, chocolate, and chart my cycle. I'll meet you back here next week. Bye.